we get going, let's have a look at the latest. You know how much we love our little jingles. Hope you enjoyed that one. We think it was it's quite cute. Extra, extra. So we actually wanted to do a little bit more each month about what some of the news is coming out in various places that we think PMO people might be interested in knowing about. And again, this is coming from, the various places from where we, are hanging out, or news that we get told about, or things that are coming into here at House of PMO. Yeah, let's crack on with it. This is my segment. So I don't know how many of you have heard this new
When you and your team achieve your goals, a sense of accomplishment inspires everyone to keep making progress. So it should be easy for you to organize projects, stay on track, and work together. This is the new Microsoft Planner. Simple, collaborative, and powerful. Planner helps everyone effectively manage their work and achieve their goals. It brings all your tasks, plans, and projects across Microsoft 365 in one familiar place. Assisted by next-generation AI, Planner jumpstarts your plans and takes the work out of organizing so you can drive toward results faster. Share and assign tasks, even align them to goals. Manage resources and deliverables, and report on results. Planner is simple. It helps you stay organized. Tasks are easier to find with a view of what needs to be done today. Planner is flexible. Get started quickly, track your work in context, and choose your view and approach, like lists, boards, timelines, and sprints. Planner is scalable. You can manage everything from projects to programs to a full portfolio, and configure it to grow with your needs. Planner is intelligent. It suggests tasks to meet your plan's goals. With simple prompts, you can quickly create plans and reports. From individual to-do lists to team initiatives, the Planner app in Microsoft Teams helps users stay on top of their tasks and plans, so they feel more accomplished every day.
And no, we didn't get any kind of sponsorship from Microsoft on that whatsoever, but did go to a session a couple of weeks ago. It is talking about what's coming out in terms of Office 365. I thought you'd like to know about it if you didn't already, for people that are either using the Microsoft Project version online or MS Project on the web, as it's called, because it will be changing. It will be coming that new name, Microsoft Planner. The other thing that I think is really interesting about it is if your PMO is using the Office 365 stuff, and you could see there that it actually becomes a new tab in Teams. If you don't use any tools, if you don't have any access to some tools, perhaps it is something that your PMO could start to have a play with if you're not already using something. Because I'm really conscious of, it's great to hear about how many PMOs do have these kind of tools at their fingertips and PPM tools and things like that. However, there's so many of us that are not. And again, it feels really familiar. And I really like the fact that it also gives you that option to do the usual things like having plans as Gantt charts, as task lists, and even the bits that kind of look a little bit like Trello. So Project for the Web is going to be renamed MS Planner, and it's going to pull in some other bits that are already there, which is task. I'm going to have a look at it if you're not already familiar with it. It's April or spring 2024. That's what's coming down the line. Other things that have come to our attention that are really interesting is something called micro qualifications. As you probably know, the House of PMO has a set of 4 qualifications, and they come from the accrediting body APMG. APMG have obviously lots of different qualifications, and they do bring out new ones, and we thought we'd just tell you about which ones are coming out, which are new for them as well. So there's one called Experience Collab, or Collab, which is it's a really interesting one. And Eileen, I'd forgotten that you were actually at the launch event for this week, weren't you?
I was.
Do you want to come off mute and just give us a quick?
I think so. It was originally set up for managed service professionals, so people who are delivering IT services, saying they could, we kept achieving SLAs, but our customers were still unhappy. So what they've developed is this concept of XLAs, which actually kind of goes into a kind of a much more 360-degree review of the service that's being provided. And obviously we were interested because as a PMO, we deliver services. So I'm hoping to get, we've already had that conversation, but hopefully they're going to come and do a session at PMO Learn in June for us.
Super. So there you go. That's the first one that was coming out, which I thought there might be some interesting over.
Nobody knows about PMO Learn yet. That's a secret, everybody. Yes.
And the second one that they've got, which I think it might be an interest to a lot of PMO people, is obviously from a change management point of view. But I know a lot of you, me included, enjoy the kind of neuroscience side of things like change and how people think about change and how we all go through change and things like that. So they brought out a new qualification, which is the PEP approach, which is what you can see there, the PEP, upside down. But it is very much for people that are doing a lot more around the change management services, for example, out of the PMO, or very interested in the kind of people aspects of project management and PPM and PMO and all that kind of good stuff. Again, it's one of those I think is probably falls into the softer skill camp, but for anybody who kind of likes that kind of thing, go and have a look. So these are both from APMG. There's another couple that they're bringing out this year, but I think these two were the ones that maybe PMO people may be interested in. So want to check it out. A bit of news from us as well. We have got a version 2 of the PMO competency framework coming. It has been coming for a while. For people that are not aware, TSO, which is the stationery office publishers, we've been working with them on the new version, and essentially the context is the same. For us, it was all about trying to make it clearer, better navigation. Okay, yeah, there were a few typos that have been sorted out and a bit of grammar. But yeah, version 2 is, we'll be doing a bigger launch, but it is coming. You can already buy this version through TSO and it'll be available in other places really, really soon. But there's kind of like an advanced thing on that. But if you're thinking about buying the PMO competency framework, if you've not already got it, you can get the new version. And if you have already got the current version, it is essentially the same content, so the content is not really changed. Okay, so new addition there, and some of the other news that you may or may not have seen, which is certainly getting a lot of people interested and excited more about AI and project management, is that PMI launched their new kind of like AI bot or assistant, which they've called PMI Infinity, which is basically getting into this whole thing around what ChatGPT does, but limiting it around the PMI content right across their publications and their resources on their websites and stuff like that. Yes, it will only be available to their members after a certain day, but if you want to go and have a look and play with it to understand a little bit more about, where this kind of what they call learning assistant type technologies go and have a look. Because the other thing as well is that what we've also discovered is that actually there's quite a few organizations and PMOs that are already utilizing this kind of approach to help in terms of their assistant type work, where you're getting asked questions about where can I find this template, how can I find some more detail about this process. Actually, a lot of the more advanced PMOs or organizations are already starting to automate that using this kind of technology as well. So PMI, probably the first in the whole PPM space to be really utilizing this kind of technology. So going to have a play before they kind of shut it down and put it behind the firewall. So other news, this caught my eye, and this is news. You can see published on January the 24th, just some news about the Pentagon, and that they're having a new office. So that's a new PMO, but look at that name, Customer Experience Officer portfolio management office. So there you go. And interestingly, how that is related to the Experience Collab qualification that has just been launched as well. So it's all about experiences and being able to make the Pentagon's own kind of IT operation better for their users right across their organization. And the interesting thing is that is obviously a PMO that goes alongside that to support that. So yeah, interesting, isn't it, how you start to hear one thing and then they say it all the time, don't they? You're thinking about one thing and then suddenly you start to see a lot more of it. There's certainly something in this experience stuff, isn't there? And if you think about it from a PMO point of view, isn't that what we're trying to do in terms of making the experience of working with the PMO or what the PMO is offering our organizations better for the people that are utilizing it and using it? So there you go. So there's a great title in terms of the PMO. And as finally for me, in terms of news, this is something else that I thought were really interesting. This is a PMO job spotlight, which we hope to bring you each month as well. But why is this one being spotlighted? So it's been an interesting week for talking about PMOs and project data analytics. If you missed the session that we did earlier on in the week, you'll see that in the newsletter next week, which was sharing some stories from a couple of PMOs that are doing some good stuff with project data analytics in their PMO. And I thought it'd be really interesting. Are there any jobs out there currently being recruited for that don't belong within the project control space, but are specifically asking for that kind of project data analytics experience? And the only one in both LinkedIn jobs and Indeed, which is another big job hunting place on the web, this was the only one. The only one, a PMO administrator level role, where they are explicitly talking about the data aspects and that data analytical side to the role. The only one. The rest of them, there's about a handful that were very much about project controls, but this one was the only one. So isn't that interesting? We're hearing a lot about project data analytics and stuff. However, the job ads are not really asking for it. So interesting. So that's it from me. That's the news for this month. Hopefully it was a nice eclectic mix, and we'll be bringing more of that to you next month.